Game Pass Guide back, your weekly podcast for games of the Game Pass collection. Bringing you a side quest, helping you figure out what games to play with your kids. So I figured this would be a fun, decent episode, since I see our main demographic is usually around the age of 25, 35. And even if you don't have kids yourself, at this probably point in age, you have nieces, nephews, cousins, friends with little kids. So I thought this would be a fun episode to kind of help show you some games that are actually worth your time. But I am your hardcore gamer host, Andrew. You can find, I don't know why I'm doing outro. I am the hardcore gamer of this episode. Andrew, with me, our moderate gamer who can't figure it out, Keith.
Hello.
And our wonderful Liz the Noob.
Hey, guys.
See, Keith, I thought you were going to do a burn and be like, hey, at least I'm not a person who can't figure out the intro.
You know, I was gonna, but I figured I'd let you have it, and that's what I'm going to say. And it's not that I couldn't think of something clever to say on the fly.
I came it up for you. I came up with my own self-burn.
Well, I mean, yeah, but that wasn't really all that clever. But anywho.
But yeah, so there's obviously been a lot of games. You know, we're first going to start this off. Me and Liz, we have a 4-year-old. So we've obviously been trying to find some games that are more appropriate for a 4-year-old, which is much more difficult than you think. Keith, what are your kids' ages?
So I've got 2, 6, and 11. So we've got a broad range. The 2-year-old doesn't really... Actually, he probably watches me play the most video games. Our 6-year-old, she does play some of her own, and then our 11-year-old just plays a ton of Fortnite. So...
Ah, all right. No, but I thought it'd be nice to kind of go over some of these games that we've obviously have dabbled a lot of different games, and we've had some list of requests on some of these games, and it's just like, don't know if we can quite do a full episode on. So a lot of these games we've just kind of dabbled here and there on Game Pass. So we thought it'd be nice to kind of collect them all together here and give you some nice information of what we've been playing. Everyone got their lists?
Yep. There are some games that, our 4-year-old loves, and that when she asks me to play, I'm like, how about we play this instead? And then there are games that I'm actually like, boot it up, Exactly. So it's always a mix for me. I'm happy when she's excited, but sometimes I just want to play what I want to play.
I know. That's why I wanted to do this episode, because there are some games out there that are just like, yeah, can we not do that? But I'm going to start off with an easy, probably not spend too much time on it, because unless you've been living on a rock, how have you not heard of this? But Liz, I will let you mostly take it away. But the first game I want to mention is Minecraft.
Oh, boy. Yeah, because, with our 4-year-old, I play with no enemies, just creative mode. Yeah. And I feel like when we first started playing it versus now, like seeing our daughter's imagination and the things that she comes up with. And, now she's like, I want to help you build the minecart rails. I want to build a farm. And she is scouting locations. And so for me, it's just like, I love the imagination of it. And then she loves to design. So it's like, oh, well, why don't you do the walls for me? Pick a color and do the walls. And she thinks it's the best thing ever. So you can really do whatever you want with it. I think for some people with Minecraft, they have a hard time. Like, what do I do?
That is my issue. I enjoy playing the Minecraft, and I enjoy playing creative mode with her, but I can only build a generic brown house. So many times. I literally have no imagination.
Well, there's obviously YouTube videos, and you can teach yourself to build really crazy cool things. But for me, I like to build secret tunnels, like a house with a secret tunnel underneath, or what's it called? Moat. A moat.
Yeah, a moat.
Yep. And same with this year, I don't know if it's new, but I found such a beautiful area. It's these caves that have these glowing vines. I've never seen them before. And then you got the cherry blossom tree. So do you know what? It takes a couple days, but it's you can grow the trees that you want and everything. And I don't know. It's my favorite thing to play with her, especially because I like to see what she comes up with.
Yeah, I'm impressed. I thought for the longest time she would not be able to handle Minecraft, because honestly, Minecraft's even overwhelming to me. When you open up the menu and you're in creative mode, everything's just there. And I'm just like, I don't know what I'm picking. But she doesn't care. She doesn't look at what it is. She just goes, something's pink. I want to pick that. I want pink doors. And she'll actually go to town. And she actually does a great job actually designing things. You obviously will put up a red wall. And she's like, nah, this is going to be pink now. And destroys it and puts up a red wall and pink wall. But it's like.
The enemies are hard in it, though. Like, so, like at her age, like that would be too much. So just creative mode. I don't know if I said that earlier, but. Yeah. And same with like, she just loves spawning animals. It's like, give her a cat egg and like she's good for like however long you need her preoccupied. Put them in the mine carts.
Yeah, she loves putting cats or buddies in the mine cart, just pushing them down. It's just like, all right, go at it, kid, I guess.
And then I started like then it's like I kind of want it over the edge of a cliff or in the water because I don't want to deal with it bouncing back and forth. She doesn't notice where they're going. But yeah, that's honestly my favorite, I think.
I see. I'm with Andrew where like I it would be a struggle for me if and our oldest, he was into Minecraft for a while. He didn't do. Well, I think he did do some creative, but mostly he just had his worlds that he was building, and he was even going into some of the books and stuff. But I don't have the vision for it, and I mean this isn't just Minecraft. This is me as a gamer. It's any builder game that we play, and Andrew, it drives you bananas. My pal world with my pals just sleeping out in the wilderness because I don't know, they don't need a roof over their head, but boy does that drive Andrew crazy. And Minecraft is like the biggest version of it. It's giant pixels. Everything is just one giant pixel, and you have to build everything one pixel at a time. I've always thought it's impressive. I'm afraid of my kids getting into it. I'm like, I don't think I could play it. Like, I mean, I will if I have to, but boy, I don't want to. I would rather pick a game more like, say, Sea of Thieves. That would be more my style.
I will say because you just brought up graphics. I do think it's kind of amazing that our daughter is really into the game. Yeah. Because if you think about like all the games, like you said, Sea of Thieves, like graphically, I thought she would just want to play something that looked better. Like I really like when I first started playing Minecraft, I'm like, I don't want to play this. because graphically it didn't, like, I wasn't interested, and now I'm used to it. But I would think that a kid, would like something more like.
Well, I don't know. I don't think a kid. I think graphics really are very low on a bar for a kid. Because I mean, if you think about it, like I grew up. Well, me and Keith grew up on like Sega Genesis, Nintendo, Super Nintendo, like. We just had like we had
but
bits.
That really was the best of the best, though. So
it was the best.
We didn't
it was all about
have
gameplay.
Frame of reference. So at 8 years old, if we had that and we had graphics, because I can tell you that conversation comes up a lot with my oldest when we're talking about games, and he'll look at things and he's like, "Oh, is that like an old game?" Because he'll see me playing, I don't know, say like Vampire Survivors. I'm like, no, actually, this game came out like a year and a half ago. It's an intentional design of the graphics, and it's like not in a bad way, but I do think actually in that sort of age range, graphics are kind of a focus, and it's something that is looked at as, is this the most modern game, is this the best game, and if the graphics aren't there, it's not going to line up. Now I still think this is where Minecraft really does fall under that one of those weird, I don't know, kind of exceptions, and I think it's because of the fact that it, like I mentioned, it being it's all pixel by pixel. So when you build out, was it Carlos in our Discord who had built us the GPGV?
Oh yeah,
picture?
He made our logo in Minecraft.
Yeah, when you go out far enough, that actually looks like great graphics, and like even like the mountainscapes and a lot of it. It's not top tier graphics, but it doesn't look like little blocks and shells, pixels from far away. And so there's this weird mix of really good graphics, but, not graphics at the same time that Minecraft pulls, I think.
I know, because I remember when we did our Minecraft episode, that was always my complaint of like, graphically, it's not that it's bad. I don't like the textures. Like, to me, it's hard to kind of distinguish when you're looking at just one block. Sometimes, what is that texture? But I think that just goes to show the creative mind of, our 4-year-old. She doesn't care. It's pink. It's something that's pink. That's all she wants, and that's all she cares about. She just likes the color. She doesn't care what the texture or the graphics is of it. She just likes the colors. But I mean, I've always wondered that. Like, I don't know. Like, for me, as I mean, we only have a 4-year-old. She's obviously not judging too many things by graphics. So, but I guess with your 11-year-old, I guess he has issues with it.
It's actually kind of funny though, because he's got a really good friend so we have a gaming store in our town, and it's like an old like gaming trade-in store, Sega Genesis, Super Nintendos, they've got all that stuff. It's actually a really cool store. But his friend hangs out there after school all the time, and like he loves old games. So they're these weird counterbalance, but I think they both play Fortnite together. So Fortnite is the, combining force for again, the young age group for sure. But yeah, I think that in general, you're going to have those kids that are going to be like the retro kids.
Yeah. That
for our age group were the ones that were like, I'm listening to a cassette player, even though CDs were a thing and whatnot. So,
yeah. I mean, we have Javier here in our Discord now saying his eldest enjoys old games more than his siblings.
See that? Yeah.
But
if you don't ruin some of the old games with the context of new games, they really are better.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But my choice, or one of the choices that I'm going to go with, I know, Liz, you don't like it, but I actually have been enjoying it, and that is Goat Simulator.
Oh, jeez.
Goat Simulator 3, actually, to be exact. Liz has watched me and Piper play this game, and she's like, this game looks so dumb. And I mean, it is dumb. If you have ever played Goat Simulator, it's obviously meant to be goofy, and our 4-year-old loves it. It's just... Now, fair warning, there is kind of mischievous violence. Like, there's nothing gory about it, but you're obviously...
Gross sounds.
Yeah, you're being a goat, just being a jerk and kind of hitting people and stuff. There's nothing graphic about it. I don't think anyone actually can even die in it, even though there's like explosions going on. But it's an open... The third one here is an open sandbox world. It's a split screen, co-op. You can teleport to your person. So there's times where, my 4-year-old, she's wandering off doing whatever, but then she's like, I want to be with you. It's like, all right, here you go. Boom, teleport straight to me. It's just really goofy fun. Nothing is difficult in it. It's just, how are you going to just mess around with the people? How are you going to break things? There's even some PvP kind of game modes, like Floor is Lava. There's a King of the Hill, which I do not let her win at all. I make sure I beat her every time. I will not let my 4-year-old get a free victory. I mean, half the time, honestly, she loses it for herself. Like we're playing the Floor is Lava. I'm like, you might want to get off the floor, and she's just wandering around. It's like, oh, okay, I guess you're not trying.
I did my best.
I think the only thing I really like doing in the game is irritating people.
Oh yeah, that is the game.
No, but she doesn't like it when I do it too much. So for me, it just like at first I'll chase her, be like, I'm gonna get you, and she thinks it's hilarious. But then she's like, stop licking my character. So for me, it's just like that's the only thing I really know how to do in the game or want to do in the game.
Well, that is the game. Like, the game is really to be just nonsensical and just so. I also like the game because it's really good for achievements. It's a thing you don't have to be together. So she can be on one end of the map, I can be at the other end, and we can kind of just do our own things. But then, yeah, like I said, you can teleport to each other and actually, actually have fun with each other. But it's a game I don't mind playing because I'm not tethered to her, and I can still kind of have my own fun. But yeah, it's just...
I get bored. I need like objectives and like...
Which is kind of funny because you picked your Minecraft, your first like main one. And
because
that's all about
because I have an idea of what I want to build.
And in Goat Simulator, it's all about what you want to destroy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's same but different, I guess. But it's... Yeah, I've really only touched the Goat Simulator games maybe a handful of times. But I can absolutely see that. My youngest, while he might not play it, he just is, I don't know, he's a bit feral. And just, I think he'd just be dying laughing at me as a goat.
Did you describe your kid as feral?
Yeah, you heard that right.
Okay. That's a way to describe your kid.
He's like a Sour Patch Kid, but yeah, feral. But yeah, I think you would absolutely get a kick out of it because I know more than enough about Goat Simulator. I think I actually had a friend who had all of the DLCs
for the first one. Well, it's funny. I don't know if you know the joke, but there's Goat Simulator 1 and then it goes to 3. There's no Goat Simulator 2, which is a great joke. I'm sure someone else has done that.
I've never noticed that, honestly.
Yeah, it's really
that
stupid.
shows you how much I've ever paid attention to the series. I played all the not all of it. I played a bunch of the DLCs because I was like, how wacky and wild is this game? But I didn't really dive deep into it enough to say too much about it. But the new one's been out for a while, right?
No, like a month or two. It's pretty new. Yeah.
Okay. Maybe I'll give it a check out then. Might have to try that, because I think probably all of the kids would like it, because I don't know, at least if I put myself in my shoes of an 11-year-old, but just knowing his sense of humor, I think he'd find it quite amusing anyways. But yeah, I could see that one being a good for all ages type of game.
Yeah. So what about you, Keith? What's one of your picks?
Well, I said Sea of Thieves, so I'm just gonna stick with that. But yeah, it's been a while. I don't even pick up Sea of Thieves enough as I'd like to, obviously, these days. But when I do, it's just always a boatload of fun.
Boatload.
No, I'm gonna say pun intended. I'm gonna take the pun on that one. But no, it's a perfect game, and I actually, it's one I would like to pick up more so now. And I think even just having watched like his gaming evolve and playing Fortnite and all of that, he's got a lot more of that, the FPS motor skills that, yes, Sea of Thieves isn't a ton of, PvP, but having those skeletons and, when we used to play, it would be a lot of him running around going, I'm getting chased by skeletons and freaking out. But now I think that he's played more games where he'd be used to that. It would be a lot more like forward progress. So I actually would like to go back and play more, with my kids in particular. But I mean, Sea of Thieves is just a great game. It's really the only thing that I would say is like, I don't think is appropriate for kids is the online experience. And you really even have the opportunity to take that out if you don't cut me off, Andrew.
Sorry, I was just making sure.
Much. That now that they have the Safer Seas option available to you, you don't even have to play with that online experience. So realistically, whether it's with your kids, around your kids, Sea of Thieves is really just a good game to play. And kind of going back to that Safer Seas thing too, is if they are literally doing nothing because they're 4 years old and they just want to jump off the boat intentionally and do nothing, you have a sloop and you carry on. You really can still play the game, and you're not tethered, as you were saying, Andrew, to that fact until they get lost in the middle of the ocean somewhere. You need to save them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad you mentioned the Safer Seas. The only thing that I think that stinks about Sea of Thieves is that it doesn't have couch co-op, because like that's the only thing I think that will hold you back, unless you can cloud on your phone and have the kid take the console. It just kind of stinks that there's not that option. It is great that they have the Safer Seas, because I was thinking that too, where it's like, man, I always wanted to be at that point where I'm like, yeah, I would love to play Sea of Thieves, because I know we've had some. I'll get to our Discord listeners' recommendations, but I know we've had people that always said they love playing Sea of Thieves with their kids. But as you said, with online experience, it can be pretty different. You never know what people are going to be swearing and cursing at you.
True, but at least you can turn all of that audio off.
Yeah.
And so at the very worst, you're just going to have a bad time of someone kind of griefing you and, well, I guess text chat. But I think you can even disable that. I don't remember. But that said, you're not forced to have all of that negative audio experience.
Yep. What about you, Liz? What's the other one?
Oh, like another game?
Yeah.
My other topic is Lego Star Wars, which is weird because I'm not a Star Wars person. I mean, the movies are all right, but please don't come at me for saying that.
I love how your movies are all right, I guess.
They're all right. I mean, I'm just not like a crazy fan. The one downside of this, because I do think it's a great game. Let me say something positive first. But I think that they do it in a really funny way. The facial expressions of the Lego characters, and they make it in a way you're like, oh wait, that looks like he's a bad guy. And it's also, I think I like games with kids that aren't so linear, you have to do this, because obviously you have missions, but my daughter's favorite thing is to find the blocks or bricks or whatever they are. And so you can kind of take as much time as you want to. You can just destroy things for coins. But there's the one thing that irritates me about the game is if you're playing with your kid and you can only have your one character, usually you can change your character. But I was once stuck with her where she had the character that could do all of the bricks and all of the missions, and I was just a robot that couldn't climb trees. And I'm like, this is brutal. And it barely ever happens. It's the same with like if, we're flying the spaceship and one of us is steering and one of us is shooting, I end up with the guns. It's useless. So there's a couple points where it's like
You're not supposed to control with her?
Sometimes she's very adamant that she wants to do it. And so, but for me, like, it barely happens. And then she will eventually be like, okay, you can do it. So yeah, that's the only like gripe that I have. But I just love games that you can just kind of do whatever you want.
Yeah.
So I really like that one.
No, I fully agree. The Lego Star Wars games are so good. Okay, not even just Star Wars. I would say any of the Lego games. I've played a good amount of them. I've played, some of the Marvel ones. I've played the other versions of Star Wars that they have out there. But yeah, they have the Luke Skywalker saga currently on Game Pass, which is all 9 of the movies. It is a lot of content. But yeah, I fully agree. It's super fun to play with our 4-year-old. I didn't think she would like it. I thought it would be too difficult or something, that it would be too confusing. No. You're right where she loves to just kind of screw around. She loves to collect the blocks. But she always follows. Like as you said, there's sometimes where she has a character that you really need, but besides that, it's a fun time because there is just so much to do. There's so much content in that game, and pretty consistently, like every once in a while she'll want to take a break from it, but I feel like I could suggest that game almost any time. Like you said, if she suggests a game where I'm like, I don't really want to play that, I'm like, how about Lego Star Wars? And she'll usually say yes to it.
Which I think you deleted it at one point.
I did, because it's like 50 gigs. It's kind of a big game.
Yeah. But I immediately, like, when that happened, she asked for it. But then I was like, oh, we don't have it. It's going to take a while to download. She's like, let's play this instead. I'm like, I need Andrew to download it.
Oh, but fair warning with that game, though. Don't let your small child boot it up. It's easy to delete data. I remember you got very far in the game, and she ended up deleting the entire save file.
Oh,
and so, so that's why I was like, I'm going to play on mine and make sure I sign in.
Which is fine because, like, I mean, there's so many things that you have to go back to anyways that, like, if you don't get all the bricks and whatnot. And I'm a weirdo. And, like, if I want to restart a game just to, like, switch my character or something, I'll delete, like, a huge game. Like, how many times have I restarted Stardew? Yeah. So, for someone like me, it doesn't really matter, but...
Can't you have multiple save files on Stardew?
Yeah.
I do, but I mean, I don't go back to my old ones. And I've done it with games where you have to delete it.
It stresses me out just thinking about it. Like, I can get
such
starting
a quitter.
when there's multiple save files, but just intentionally deleting old game files...
Javier in our Discord says to have them have their own gamer tags, but I want the achievements. I'm not going to have them have her own gamer tag.
Oh yeah, I like when like a new kids game comes out and you're like, oh Piper, why don't you try this? And then he switches accounts.
But you gotta think though, like, so obviously you go back, yours goes back as far as the first year of Xbox Live. But that can be like a marker of like when you started your gaming journey with your kids versus stealing their achievements. If you think about it that way,
that's a good idea.
So yeah.
Well, but hold on, you're gonna have her pick her username at 4 years old that she's hopefully gonna use for years. Well, I guess you can pay to change it.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say it's not as though changing it is impossible for one thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, realistically, I think that's part of the fun of it because at the end of the day, like, I don't know, mine's a little fluffy, and there's no context or basis in my life other than I wonder what's the dumbest thing I could come up with. It has no meaning to me, but for the fact that I came up with it and it was the thing I wanted to create, it's for me the greatest thing I've ever done. Well, maybe that's the greatest game name I've ever made.
Greatest
but
thing
yeah,
I've ever done.
So that's probably bad phrasing. But I was gonna say, just to tag on to the Lego games in general, I've actually played a fair chunk of the Avengers game because we got that one for our oldest when he was he still is pretty into Marvel stuff, but he was on a really big Marvel kick for a while. And yeah, I played a lot of those, and like the amount of different characters you can play as and just switch in and out of, it's a ton of fun from that aspect. And then I actually played, I think, a bunch of the Batman ones as well. Those ones are also, I mean, really all the same thing. You have these like just vast array of characters that you can swap in and out for the most part, if it's not a specific story mission or whatever. So I would agree with the Lego games in all aspects.
Well, the other one I wanted to mention that you kind of quickly mentioned there, Liz, but Stardew Valley. This one I would probably recommend for slightly older kids, due to the fact that there's no voice acting. So if the kid, I mean, granted, Stardew Valley doesn't really have objectives, but everything is text. So your kid will have to kind of read and understand what's going on. But Stardew Valley is really good. It's very simple. You know where the danger is. It's always just in the mines. So you can just have a simple, fun time just harvesting crops. It's couch co-op up to 4 players, which is really great. On PC right now, you can have actually up to 8 players. That patch is soon coming out to console, I think within this month. But you can have even more players onto your farm. But Stardew Valley is such an easy, accessible game. Like, it's fun. It's relaxing. As Liz have said, you have put probably hundreds of hours.
You know what? When Piper's old enough to play Stardew Valley,
Honestly, at this point, I feel like we should try. I think
if she could grasp Minecraft and like the controls behind Lego, I think that's more than enough. Because Lego's a little bit more 3D, or I don't know, what is that described as when it's like at an angle, 3D almost?
It's 3D. It's not, I guess it's
third
person.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not fully top down.
It's third person.
Yeah, I suppose. But either way, I would think you could probably get her to play that.
Yeah, it's a very fun, relaxing game. I mean, even now, I actually just started a new farm. I got 2 of my coworkers into Stardew, and this is like their first time playing it, and it's just like, man, every time I boot Stardew Valley up, it's just I forget how easy and addictive that game is. You just want to clear out your farm. Now you got to start doing those crops. Yeah, highly recommend it.
I wanted to bring up, so there's a lot of games, and not all of them, I think, are couch co-op or multiplayer, but there's so many games based off of kids' TV shows.
Yeah.
And so, like, just to throw out some, the new Bluey game didn't get the greatest reviews.
What do you think of it?
Is it even couch co-op? I think it's just...
It is.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
I just watch her play it. She loves Bluey so much that it doesn't even matter what the game is. It's just anything Bluey. So I've watched her play it. It's the same with Peppa Pig. Don't really have an interest in playing it. I don't think there's like that much there. But one thing that I was surprised about is Paw Patrol. If your kid loves Paw Patrol, there's so many Paw Patrol games.
There's 3 of them. No, 4 of them now.
Grand Prix, City, Mighty Pups, and Paw Patrol World. One of them, I believe it's City, is really bad.
City's awful.
It is.
Do not waste your time with Paw Patrol City.
I like
That's
seeing the
from
difference.
movie.
Yes. It's even for achievement hunters, for anyone, I would not recommend Paw Patrol City. It's so poorly done. Like,
well, I haven't played Grand Prix, but I can say
Grand Prix is okay.
The Paw Patrol World and the Mighty Pups games, they are fun. You even just collecting like the treats and stuff. But City, it's like the whole way the game is designed, even graphically, it's subpar compared to the other ones. And it's not the oldest Paw Patrol game.
The dogs don't even bark in the game. Like, it's so weird. Like, when you play it, the dogs are doing a barking motion, but there's no bark audio. It's like, how do you not put in bark audio? There's only one voice acting, and that's Ryder. And that's it. There's like I said, achievement hunting wise, it's not worth your time. It's such a headache because every level halfway through, you usually have to do like a driving section, but the field of view is like 2 feet in front of you. So you have an objective to collect all of the biscuits, but the biscuits literally pop up like an inch in front of your character. So unless you have memorized the track, it's so hard to get all the treats. It's not a fun game. It's so poorly made.
Yeah, I wanted to throw that out there because I know so many kids love Paw Patrol.
Yeah.
So if you are thinking, oh, I'll try one of the Paw Patrol games, even if the City one is your favorite movie, still pick a different one.
Yeah, Mighty Pups isn't too bad.
Yeah, the City movie was actually pretty good.
Yeah, but like
I don't remember which one. I mean, I think they've played all of them. They're not. Yeah, I I didn't catch on to the barking. One thing I did find though, because I think I think it was when City came out, was probably one of the first times I ever tried to move the clock ahead on my Xbox, because it was like school vacation when it was set to come out. I was like, I needed something for them to do, so I was trying to get this game a day early. But what I found out was that if you move it to like Australia time, it also changes Ryder to have an accent for no reason. No reason whatsoever. They speak English, they say the same lines, but he has an accent, and I don't know why they made that decision, but they did. So that's a fun fact.
It's not an accent. Everyone knows Australians speak a completely different language.
That is true.
So you need a completely different voice actor.
I kind of wish that it was, though, that it just had a bunch of Australian slang littered throughout it.
I wanted to say Piper actually does like say some Australian words now. Like she called me mate a couple weeks ago because Bandit says that. Yeah, Bandit says that, and I just thought it was really cute. No accent or anything, but I was a mate now.
But that's weird to think that the Paw Patrol game hired an Australian accent person to redo the lines, but they wouldn't put in the barking audio. They're like, we'll pay someone real money to do all the lines all over again. Still in English, just with an accent, but no barking. We're still not going to add that audio.
That's what I'm saying. It made no sense. Like I had to double check because I switched it back to US. It went, and I was like, I have to try this. I switched it back again, and yeah, it's very, very weird. But I think what I think is weird, and I know we're sitting here talking about kids games, but for game critics to review a game like Bluey, and I get it that as an adult in less than 3 hours I can sit and beat Bluey, whatever. But like Liz said, your 4-year-old is going to sit there for hours on end and just run around as Bluey and have the time of her life. My 6-year-old played for probably a good 2.5 hours one day, just sat there and just ran around collecting stickers and this and that. And she was running by him, missing things like crazy. And I'm watching it like,
screaming,
I need to get
the stickers.
But you know what? It didn't matter. She was happy. And that's the kind of the thing about those types of games, is that for all the things that they put in there, it doesn't really matter. They just see their characters on the screen and they get to play as them, and that's fun enough. So I think they're mostly fine. I've played the racing one. It's not great, but it's not bad. So,
I wanted to go off what you just said, Keith, with kids just being excited about the game because of the characters. Because that reminds me of like back when we played Disney Dreamlight Valley, they had Minnie and Mickey Mouse. Yeah, Piper she didn't even know how to play or what was going on, but she wanted to play for that reason. And
she just wanted to talk to him.
Yeah, and she saw a picture of SpongeBob. The SpongeBob game is out. She wants to play SpongeBob now, and so
we tried the SpongeBob game. She didn't care for it.
Yeah, was it a little difficult?
Yeah.
I also wanted to ask. So I haven't really played this much with her. I saw you helping her with it a little to the left. Yeah. So does she really like the game? I haven't seen her play it.
Well, when we played it for a good half hour to an hour. Little to the Left is a very simplistic puzzle game. It's kind of about organizations. It's a puzzle game that doesn't explain the puzzle. So you're always kind of given a little snippet of like just maybe some like postcards, and you got to figure out like how am I organizing these postcards? Am I doing it like, oh, this one has a circle? Like I separate them into two categories with circle stamps and square stamps. Am I organizing them from size, smallest to largest, or largest to smallest? So it doesn't explain it. You're just kind of fiddling around with it. And me and her were having a good time with it. We both would kind of think over like, oh, maybe you're supposed to do this. Maybe you're supposed to do this. It was accessible for her at the beginning, but as the puzzles obviously got harder, I don't think she had any idea what was going on. But it was okay.
Say that makes sense, because I played that, I think for maybe close to an hour, but I did it I played for probably close to an hour, and by the end of it, you kind of just get a little bored. It's a fun little snippet game to play, and they even have little daily challenges, so it's intended to come back every day, and I don't think play for long bursts, but it is a really neat little puzzle game. I was having fun playing it. And there's tons of them. And then there's ones like you were saying, do I solve it this way or that way? because sometimes you solve it multiple ways, and that's kind of a cool thing too. So it's all about thinking outside of the box just a bit.
But a game I was going to suggest is Vampire Survivors, as you, I think, kind of mentioned a little bit there, Keith. And then soon, in a little bit, Brotato. Brotato, it currently doesn't have multiplayer, but they are very soon going to have a patch where it will have couch co-op. But so at the moment, Vampire Survivors, couch co-op. Very easy. Does not require much thinking. It's just, as if you've played Vampire Survivors, you are just kind of moving your character around, maybe dodging some bullets, some enemies, picking some weapons and treasures, but very simple, easy, relaxing. Kid, your kid can't screw it up. It's just something you can just kind of give a controller to them and just play with you.
Yeah, I could see that. I know my youngest has seen me play it, and he just likes all the flashing lights and colors. Every time I open a chest, he just gets excited because, I don't know, again, it's very shiny and bright.
Yeah.
So I could say that much. But I was also going to say, I really just about any racing game. I think I could name a few, obviously, as far as the Lego game, which I haven't touched yet, the Hot Wheels games, which are actually a pretty fair amount of fun. Yeah. But if it were going to be me, I would say the Forza Horizon games.
Yeah.
Because again, that's one that's great where going back a few years, she's not 4 years old now, but when she was 4 years old, I could just put a controller down and be like, hey, play this. And, whether you were playing co-op or just, letting them try to play video games, you didn't have to worry about anything being broken. They couldn't, they can sell your stuff, but for the most part, money's never an issue. So you're just like, hey, what's a car you want to buy? I'm going to buy it. And you can just, kind of go free range with the game. So it's just a little bit almost off the wall, but it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I did that when our daughter was 3. I did the same thing. I handed her a controller, and she loved just doing like donuts in the field and Forza Horizon, and just had fun. Just
she loves things. Mario Kart too. I mean, she's a better driver than me.
In real life or in Mario Kart?
Yes.
I mean, you've gotten in an accident. You're good.
Knock on wood right now. Yeah. It's the same with, I never want to say I've never had a ticket, because then it's going to happen. But so far, man, I feel real nervous now.
It's drywall. It's not wood. Don't hit my head.
I also realized, as we're talking, that a lot of games, I don't know if they're co-op or multiplayer, because Piper just is happy if I sit next to her and watch her play. Thank you, Javier. And so it has 2 other ones that she kind of struggled with. The New Super Lucky's Tale and Rush. I have never played with her, and I don't know if it's multiplayer or not. But she struggles with it, so no matter what, it's nice that I'm there to help her.
Wait, what's the second one?
You said Rush?
Rush?
Yeah, isn't that the one with the...
Disney Pixar. Yeah, the Pixar Rush, yes.
I realize that I'm kind of like the picky one with what Piper and I play.
No, let's not do this.
Because for me, it's there are games that I like to play, and other times I'm like, how about I watch you play?
But I'm glad you brought it up, because I was going to bring it up. Super Lucky's Tale. I don't know why I struggled saying that. But we've actually had a couple of listeners request that we play this game. I just wasn't quite sure how much of a game we could do an episode on it. But we might do it someday. But yeah, so I've checked it out. And yeah, it is a game that our 4-year-old, I'm surprised how actually well she does with it. There are obviously, it's a 3D platformer, and with any 3D platformers, the farther you get, the harder it gets. But it's actually impressive to watch her actually progressively get better with this game. Because at first level, it's obviously there's maybe 2 enemies. And she first was dying by them, but now she can clear that first level, no issue. And it's just impressive to see just how she gets better at it. But I've enjoyed Super Lucky's Tale is a really nice, simple 3D platformer game. But the Disney Rush game, I don't really care for that one.
Yeah, I get bored with it. What about, so there was that game that we played. I don't even know if it's kid friendly. I wanted to ask you, was it Fogs or Dogs?
Oh, Fogs, yeah.
Is that a kid friendly game? I just thought of it when we were talking.
It would be. It's not on Game Pass anymore.
Oh, okay. I was just curious. I don't know why I thought of that when you were talking. But.
I mean, the art style's very similar.
Yeah, I think the hardest part with that gameplay would have been how much you just really needed to coordinate and time a lot of things.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I think to that it could be trickier for some of the littler ones there. But I think, as they get a little older, even 8 and 9, you probably can, depending on your kid too, of course. But yeah, I think that would be more than at least kid friendly.
Oh, I forgot to mention this, but I know we were talking about like old school games. So for me, I grew up on the Sega Genesis. So I just recently bought the Sega Genesis collection that has like a handful of the Sonic games, Golden Axe.
Oh, yeah.
And I've actually been booting up and like Piper recognizes Sonic. And so I've actually been playing a little bit with her. And so it's always fun going back to the classics of like things you grew up with and be like, when I was a little kid, this is what I played. But she actually was enjoying it. Like we were playing Golden Axe. It was actually pretty funny.
The thing is, even if she doesn't like a game, she still wants to keep playing.
Yeah.
So for me, it's hard. Like if we asked Piper what her favorite game is, I feel like she wouldn't know, because there are times where like Sonic, where I can tell she doesn't really want to play it anymore because she's finding it hard, but she like won't put the controller down.
Well, actually, speaking of one, well, I don't actually know why I'm speaking of it, other than maybe old school gameplay. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Shredder's Revenge. I don't think is on Game Pass anymore. Did it finally leave?
You're making me question. I'm pretty sure it still is.
Yeah, I don't know if we're only talking Game Pass games anyways, but Shredder's Revenge was one that, at least for a fair portion, they could play and get along. And it was fun to play with them too, because I don't know, it's a fun gameplay, and I think as long as you're not really playing on any of the harder difficulties, if they're too young to really know how to do much, you can carry the load of beating all the enemies. And if they're better at gaming, you can bump the difficulty, and then you have an actual challenge with co-op. So I would say that's definitely a good, fun game to play with your kids.
I want to ask you guys, if you guys ever do PvP with your kids, do you ever let them win?
No, never.
Liz, do you let Piper win?
I don't really do PvP with her with online games, but so for instance, if we're playing like a board game, like we just started playing the I think it's called like Uno Moo or something. It's like a barn. A lot of it's luck. So and same with what's it called? Go Fish. It's luck. So if she wins, she wins. If I win, I win, and I don't really have to worry about it. As long as but sometimes like she'll accidentally like show me her cards and stuff. So then I'm like, okay, well I have to pretend I didn't see them. So then I might fudge it a little bit, so I'm not like getting the upper hand. But yeah, I don't really let her win because we mostly play games of luck. Same with like Chutes and Ladders.
Yeah. Actually, I think I let her win one time in Chutes and Ladders.
Did you just want the game to be over with?
Yeah, that actually was the reason. But then she wanted to play again, and I was like, crap.
Or Don't Wake Daddy, that game.
Yeah, it gets kind of old. I like Javier's. It's like, no, my 5-year-old challenges me to Smash Brothers, and I win all the time. I always loved, like, growing up, my family was always, my parents were never into video games. They always supported my hobby, even though we probably really couldn't afford it. But it always just made me laugh. Like, I remember back in the day trying to play GoldenEye with my dad on the Nintendo 64. And the controller is so wonky that my dad would always use his entire left hand to literally steer with the analog like it was a regular joystick from the Atari. And I remember my brother always yelling at him, like, no, you need to like hold it like this because there's a trigger you need to use in the back of the controller. And he's like, I'm playing it my way. We would always just destroy him.
I will say, I just thought of something I let Piper win at. It's not a game though. It's race you up the stairs, and especially with like if she, yeah.
Oh, well, that's different because that's getting ready for bed. You want the kid to win.
Yes, or if she's like getting fussy about something, and I'm like, oh, let's go do this. It's upstairs, and I'm like, race you, and then I start running. Yeah, so I let her win that all the time.
Throw it in the ground. Now you're dating me because I won.
I actually did that once. I grabbed her leg and ran past her. But no, like obviously that's like.
But you let her win sometimes.
That's a manipulative kind of winning of like, hey, let's get ready for bed quicker. Let's make it a race. That's different. But when it comes to video games, there's no mercy.
Well, that's the thing. I don't know if it's the right or wrong answer to let your kid win at a game. You know, that's why it's just like people are gonna be like, "Oh wow, you don't let your kids win." You know,
I mean,
I don't know what's right or wrong with it.
Was it lion or tigers? Maybe both. Like they'll like play fight with their kids, and then they'll like scream like they actually got hurt when they're fighting with the kids because they want them to like feel like they're actually like learning and doing things. At least that's what I've read.
Oh, yeah, no.
I don't know. Maybe you're supposed to let them
tigers.
win, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I think push them down and beat them. Hit them with that red shell as you lap them is what I'm saying.
Let them think they're winning and hit them with a blue shell. But, I mean, you the kids obviously have to learn to lose because you don't want them to think that they're always going to be the best at everything.
You don't want like a sore loser.
Yeah. And you also don't want a sore winner.
Yeah.
There's a fine line. But still.
This is true. I'm not raising my kids to hunt gazelles, so I don't have to let them win.
Beat it before life does. There you go, Javier. Like
See,
that.
that's what I'm
Me
saying.
too. This entire conversation, I've just been wanting to play Minecraft.
Really? We started with Minecraft and you're just like, yeah, I want to go back to that.
That and Lego Star Wars. Those are like the two games that I'm like, I'm always down to play. All the other ones, I'm like, eh.
So, you know, I was thinking about this because we've been playing it recently. And I would play this around any of the kids. Is Orcs Must Die. But like, what age would you think would be like, I don't even want to say appropriate because there's no gore. There's really nothing bad in it that I can think of that I wouldn't want them to see or hear.
The orcs do gib a little bit, so like they'll kind of break apart into body parts. But yeah, there is no blood and gore, and there's no language.
But yeah, I guess more than anything, it's just maybe it's just a matter of when their capabilities are there. But I don't know. Just as we were playing it, I think that would actually be kind of a fun game to play. You might, if they're not really skilled with the controller, you might have to throw the difficulty down to the lower settings to make up for it. But I could see that being a lot of fun because it's fun to play single player, but the multiplayer we've been doing is definitely much more fun.
Yeah. But I asked our Discord what other people had suggestions. So here's some other games. Not all these are on Game Pass, but Scabzilla, which is Aaron from Superpod Saga, podcast me and Keith were just recently a guest on. He said he played Ultimate Chicken Horse with his kids when they were 8 years old, which I heard of this game, but never actually looked it up. So I looked it up now. And yeah, it's pretty cool. It's a party game where it's like a 2D platformer, and with each kind of level, you're adding more pieces to the map and trying to create an obstacle course that you are able to complete, but trying to prevent other people from doing. Really kind of interesting concept, but it does look just like absolute wacky party fun. Camo Frog in our Discord, he said, he doesn't have any kids, but he has plenty of young cousins, and he found it very easy to play Minecraft with them, which, yes, we've talked about. Yep. That list just nuts to play it even more. Squidkel, he recommended that he played a lot of Kirby Epic Yarn with his kids and a lot of Wii Sports. Overall, he recommends a lot of Nintendo games, which I do as well. That is, obviously, I know we're Game Pass grab bag here, but we also do have a Nintendo Switch, and we have done quite a bit of, as Liz said, Mario Kart. She loves Mario Kart. She's so bad at it, but it's so funny. I love with Mario Kart, you can actually turn on like auto steer and auto drive, and she actually does worse. Like literally when she puts the controller down, she does better. But she loves playing with it. Like we obviously just still have a fun, goofy time because once again, as Liz said, I always play with her like I'm gonna get you, and of course she just starts giggling. And yeah, you can never go wrong with Mario Kart, and Mario Party. I got her into Mario Party a little bit, which is a lot of fun. But yeah, you can never go wrong with the majority of the Nintendo games. Curtis in our Discord recommended Disney Dreamlight Valley, which we have done a lot of.
I was addicted to that, and so like if she had wanted to play, and when I was in love with that game, I definitely would have been having a blast. But I got sick of it, and then she got interested.
It's had so many updates now. I don't know if it's co-op yet. I'm curious if it is. I feel like it wouldn't be. I feel like there's not enough to do for co-op.
Yeah.
What game is it?
Disney Dreamlight Valley.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I love.
I thought they've added a bunch, but I
They
still
have.
the same. I don't know co-op.
I that game, Liz, you were so obsessed with that you burnt yourself out so bad. I remember when we recorded that episode, you're like, I'm done with this game. Like, I can't play anymore. But you literally put like 20 plus hours that week.
I usually don't get burned out that quickly.
Yeah.
Like, I was listening to Creedence Clearwater Revival for like 2 years straight, and then I finally was like, I need to listen to something else.
Oh.
I mean, that's an exaggeration. I listen to other music too. But I was just like hardcore listening to them all the time. And then I was like, I need a little break. They're still my favorite band, right? You know, but...
But Curtis also recommended that his kids play a lot of his Bluey and Minecraft. Yeah, the Bluey game, I know we talked a little bit about it. I'm so glad that game is on Game Pass because it was a $40 game. At most, I would have spent $5 on that game. Our daughter, like you said, yeah, or I think Keith, you said, we beat it in like 2 hours, but our daughter probably has put like 8 hours. She's re-beaten that game 3 or 4 times and still playing it. She just started a new game today. And it's just like, how many times?
She takes a lot of breaks from it, though.
Yeah.
Like, it's not her favorite game. And so for me, that price and like it being Bluey, the fact that she doesn't like it even more, I'd say is kind of like a knock to the game.
Yeah. But Clarence in our Discord, he says he used to play a lot of Gran Turismo with his dad back in the day. Man, that is kind of I would not like think of that as a game you play with your kid.
I mean,
that was the original racing sim.
I was gonna say I played a ton of like I do lean into more racing games with my kids because I like racing games, and I think, you know, so usually they're fairly forgiving, or at the very least, I don't know, they lose, the race ends and you carry on if they're not really racing along. But yeah, Gran Turismo is a lot of nostalgia for me. I was you know, just coming into prime gaming age. That was like junior high when that game came out, and man, the hours I spent on endurance races, or with those like 150 lap races that would take 5.5 hours to complete with the fastest car in the game. Just, brutal. I don't know why a game would do that. I get that it's a racing simulator, but by golly, why am I going to do the same lap for 5.5 hours?
And there you were, like 5th grade Keith, sitting there and doing it.
Oh man, just jamming out. There's so much good music on there.
Yeah. Man, I always love, like I said, gaming memories with your parents. Like, my parents were never into video games, but like even my mom, I remember being a little kid, like we get stuck on some levels in Sonic the Hedgehog and she'd have to beat it for us.
See, I always think of like when we first got the Nintendo 64, which, I mean, like you, we didn't have money. It was a very big deal that we got it. And so we got the, what was it, Mario 64 or whatever it's called. And all my siblings were fighting over it. And I was so sick that day that I was just like laying on the couch. And my mom's like, well, Liz is being quiet, so she's getting it first. And I remember...
I want to.
And I remember I got to play it first. And obviously it was so much fun. But I always think about that with video games, because that and watching my brother play video games.
Yeah, I remember when we got the Nintendo 64, like we did not have money. And I remember my parents got in a fight about it because my mom's like, we can't afford this. But my dad always supported us, even though, like I said, my parents never cared for it. They always thought it was a waste of time. But my dad surprised us with the Nintendo 64, and my mom's like, oh, well, you can't return it now. They already know they got it. They want it. So...
Well, back then, I don't even know if it was something that you could put on layaway, but like, I mean, back then there were ways to go about things like that.
Yeah.
Especially at like Christmas time and stuff. That I don't even think they do layaways anymore. I don't even think they have Kmart's anymore. I know Kmart was like the big layaway store.
Yeah.
And it really helped a lot of parents like my mom.
I think some Walmarts still do it. But a lot of them just don't do it now because of the inventory space. They just don't want to carry it. It's a bummer, and I'm not saying it's a good thing to go away with.
Well, I feel like most of the time now when you buy things online, you can just do a payment plan.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
that's kind of like the same thing. It's just you have the product now.
Yeah, no, they make it a little heavier because before, I think with the layaway, you could just kind of like not pay and then they just wouldn't give you the stuff and you weren't kind of off the hook for it. But either way, there is ways. It's modernized and all this, that, and the other thing. But yeah, it's funny you mentioned because like I don't know that my dad ever picked up a controller with us But I can tell you that every single time he saw us playing a game, what game is that? Oh yeah, I beat that last night. Well, you guys were asleep.
Classic dad joke.
I was like, no, you didn't. Yeah, I did. It's like I was awake when you went to work. When did you do that? No, you didn't. So that was my dad. But my mom, on the other hand, she played a ton of Dr. Mario with us.
Ooh, that's good.
What's
she played that
Dr.
on her own.
Mario?
Oh,
Like,
it's a Tetris kind of clone, but
yeah,
different.
back in the day, like my mom was legitimately better than I was at Dr. Mario. Like it was insane. She used to play on the highest level. I was like, I can't keep up with her. But yeah, she would play that, and then I mentioned it in our Discord, but I think it was the Mega Bomberman game that came out for N60 or for Sega Genesis. And that was another one that, for whatever reason, she loved Bomberman, and she used to actually play that from time to time with us. So that was a lot of fun.
Man, yeah,
I'd like
I
to go
played
back to that one.
Bomberman on Nintendo 64 with my dad too. That game was great. That's a very simple game. You just literally drop a bomb and walk away.
The little dinosaurs and everything that they added in. I don't remember what they called them. But yeah, those things were awesome.
Man.
See, I don't think my mom ever played. I'm trying to think. I don't remember her ever. Maybe trying to help with Mario 64 with like the slide one, but I don't even remember if it was her or not. But she did not game with us. But I mean, she had 4 kids. I feel like the gaming, she was probably just like, I can go read my book for an hour or so, and then she would wait for one of us to be like, Mom, it's my turn. And so I think that's probably what she did. But yeah, I don't think my mom ever played with us.
Man, I still remember another video game core memory with my parents. I remember me and my brother. Okay, I was probably like 3rd grade. My brother was like 4th grade. No, yeah. But anyway, we had a Sega Genesis. I remember we were going to bed, and me and my brother had a bunk bed, and my dad's like, "Oh, what's that in your Sega Genesis?" And my dad went out and rented us a Ninja Turtles fighting game. I can't even remember what the game was, but it was a 2D fighter game. And me and my brother were both so excited. He's like, "You guys can stay up for another half hour." He's like, "I'll let you guys play for a little bit." But I was like, "No, my parents are always so nice with like supporting this hobby, even though they always thought it was a waste of time."
What was that dance game that your mom played?
Just Dance. I forgot about that.
Came over to
when we had to connect.
I came over to visit you. This is when we were dating, and you were like, "Let's try it out," and I was really embarrassed.
I still have it actually. It's still on the shelf there.
I have 2 left feet. Nobody wants to see that. But his mom was just like, I'll give it a go. Like, she's like, your mom's so fun with that. She's just like, let's do it.
Yeah.
And she was really good. Like, I'm not going after her.
Oh, that's awesome. Then our last listener recommendation, Gebbers on our Discord, also said that Stardew Valley is a great recommendation if you have kids. But yeah. Do you guys have any other suggestions?
I said Minecraft and Stardew Valley. I mean, I think at this point, it just really, I was thinking about it with Game Pass, whether or not I've played them or not. There's a lot of these like little cozy builder games. Like we recently played Lightyear Frontier. Definitely not as fleshed out as some of the other games. It's not the best game, but there's so many options on Game Pass like that, and they know it. They have a whole section of just family-oriented games, and while they might not be your ones you might think of because they're not kid focused, like all the sports games, things like that, those are all good options that maybe you have a kid who's not big into racing, but they love football or they love hockey, baseball. There's all of those games and all those options at your fingertips. So I think there's a lot you can pick from, and a lot of similarities even in the games that we played or picked, I guess.
Oh, and I also forgot Javier here in our Discord as well also said he plays a lot of Zombies Black Ops with his kids. Which those are going to need to be older because, man, if your kids are not carrying their weight, they just bring you down.
Because I'm looking at his full answer, Alien Hominid Invasion, which I know of, but I never played of.
That's right. I forgot to write those too that he wrote down.
That's a good one. Castle Crashers. I have not played the not re-release of or whatever, but that one is amazing.
That's a very fun
Castle Crashers.
Yeah.
Lego games we mentioned, Scribblenauts, Minecraft. Borderlands is another one. That's one I think content-wise I'd probably wait for him to be a little older just because I think some of the dialogue and stuff, but I think Borderlands is a ton of fun, and there's enough goofiness and wackiness too that you can get a lot of even some of the younger crowds to start enjoying it and whatnot. So those are all good picks too.
Yeah. I mean, I can't wait for when Piper gets older and more mature, because I'd love to play Halo. Halo's another one. That's one thing I've kind of just realized and noticed. Like, it sucks that couch co-op is just kind of going by the wayside. Like, there's not a lot of games that really just kind of offer couch co-op anymore. And it's really unfortunate.
Well, I think for someone like me, it doesn't really matter because I enjoy watching people play video games. So I feel like for a hardcore gamer like yourself, your like fingers must be twitching.
Oh yeah, anytime I'm playing with you, Liz, I'm just seething with anger.
No, it just
When
meant
we
like
play
you want to
Overcooked.
play or you want to help. Versus for me, it's like I can just watch my kid play games and be perfectly content.
Oh, I know. I love watching Piper play because, like I said, it's so interesting to watch her mind work and figure the stuff out. Like, I can't believe she beat the blue game completely by herself.
Yeah.
Like, I remember the first time she got it, she's a 4-year-old and she literally beat the entire game. Took her like 2 hours. Yeah.
No,
You guys
I
have
think
any
there's
other?
something to be said for it. You know, we were growing up and everyone told us video games were going to rot your brain. They're going to do this. They're going to do that. But I think there's a lot of puzzles and reading and all of these things that, I don't know, video games have a lot more to offer than people maybe often give them credit for. So
Yeah.
give your kids a controller. Give them their own gamer tag, Andrew. Let them make their own memories.
I've played hundreds of hours of video games, and I feel like I've barely brained my damage.
Okay.
Well, it's crazy because
You had me
everyone
in the
always.
first half of that. It's like hundreds of hours. Sorry, Liz. I just could not let that go.
No, because I was just gonna say that everyone always says like, oh, you should like play sports. Like if you're a gamer in high school, you should play sports, whatever. But now it's coming out that these contact sports are giving
Give
people
concussions.
giving people
CTE.
brain damage. Because that was something that like was always pushed, like athletics.
Yep. My mom tried to push instruments on me, and my brother.
I think I said this before that I wanted to like try soccer, and then so we went to like the intro meeting, and they're like, you need to be able to run this many miles, and we're gonna run this many miles like this many days a week, and I was just like, nope. I'm not signing up anymore.
Yeah, I remember my mom tried to sign me up for violin. I did violin for a year, but I just never practiced. And then later down the road, piano. I did that for 2 years, but once again, I never practiced. I was always playing video games.
I think it's funny because it's like she must not mind like hearing kids practice music. Some parents are just like, oh my gosh, just stop or like, go do it in the park or something.
Yeah, that is surprising. We always lived in a super tiny apartment.
Yeah, you can't get away from it.
I still love though when I did the violin. My brother picked the cello. Like I remember always laughing at him because mine was just I just carry this little briefcase. And my brother's has this massive thing he has to drag along. It's like you picked the cello.
My mom never made me do anything. She like never signed me up for anything.
No, I was the youngest of 4. I think my parents were done signing up for things. They're like, if you don't, great. Honestly, it's probably cheaper and less time. So
Yeah, that's the thing.
They really forced me to.
Yeah, it like adds up. Like people who are like, oh, I'm in field hockey and I do this sport, and it's just like that's a lot of money for each kid that you have. Yeah, maybe that's why we didn't. But
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I do kind of wish I stuck with one instrument. I do kind of wish I knew how to play an instrument.
you have Rock Band.
Yeah, you're good.
Good point.
Yeah, you're a
I kinda know
musician when
drums,
you
I
want to be.
guess.
Yeah.
There you go. All right. I think we're going to wrap it up here. Thank you all so much for joining us. If you would like to join in our Discord or say hi to us, go to GamePassGrabBag.com or go to our Linktree/GBGB. Me and Keith are very active on there. I feel like we need to have parentheses because anytime we get new people, I feel like we need to explain that who we are, Keith. Because you never.
Oh yeah.
Do you ever say you're little fluffy on here in your
not
outro?
anymore.
You usually just
You know,
say
if
I'm
you
Keith.
listen, if you listen to like our first year, maybe 2 of the podcast, I talk about it. I think some people still do every now and then. Maybe it's just like random PvP matches of, I don't know, people add you online or whatever. But every so often I'll just get like a notification that somebody's added me. So I don't know if someone went back to our backlog and found me or whatnot. I mean, feel free. I don't care. I just
Yeah.
I don't say it anymore. that's me. I'm a little fluffy in the Discord and an Xbox. But
Yeah.
you know.
Me and Keith are on there all the time, so if you come and chat with us, or if you want to send us an email, game suggestions, we'd love to hear them. Thank you so much to our Patreon members, Javier in our Discord, and Kel, who's also in our Discord a lot. And thank you so much from Thomas from Germany for a wonderful donation. But me and Keith are also sporting some merch. Well, and Liz. Liz has our Discord shirt. If you join our Discord, talk to us, you'll level up. You get a free t-shirt. And me and Keith, we're kind of testing out these shirts, see how they are. But pretty sweet.
They're comfy.
Yeah.
Mine's a typo shirt. Andrew accidentally didn't, proofread it. So mine's, if you got one of these, it wouldn't have a typo.
So that's a limited edition, one of a kind.
It is.
There will be no other replications of that shirt.
Pawn Stars 2077. Someone's gonna walk in with that shirt. Well, look at that. It's missing that word, and then they're gonna be offered tens of dollars for it.
Ooh. What if we signed it? No, that'll probably be worth. It would be worth less.
Why would we ruin the value of it? There's handwriting on it now. Who are these people? We don't want their rate.
They just want the shirt, and they're like, "Oh, that was some random people who signed it. Now it's worth less." Yeah. Okay, so maybe we should sign that then.
I've actually been destroying all my shirts. I've been so messy lately, like dropping stuff on my shirts.
That's why we did these shirts black.
I did it today. I got Taco Bell.
Taco Bell all over your white shirt.
Yep.
It's like, should have been wearing the black shirt. But yeah. So come join us. Come say hi. Well, I guess Keith already did his outro. So, Liz.
I'm Liz Noob, gamertag coming on D, and I'm on Twitter and Instagram at Liz Noob, NoobBusyW, and I should actually probably go on those.
I do love that you actually give your gamer tag and your handles, but you never check them out.
But you know what it is? Like, I don't usually post a lot of gamer stuff, and then I feel bad I'm not posting gamer stuff, so I'm like, oh, I should think of a gamer type thing to put on there, but maybe I should just...
Then you just take pictures of our dog.
I took a picture of our dog the other night right in the middle of the kitchen floor because whenever I cook, she's like at my heels in my way. And I just took a picture as proof of like how hard it is to cook with this dog.
That's any dog.
Well, no, the other day she followed me. I was cleaning. She was following me all around the house the entire day. She would not leave my side. And I was like, are you sick or something? It was cute. Don't get me wrong. I love my dog, but I'm also just like, you don't have to wait outside the bathroom for me. I have a 4-year-old who can do that. It's
so funny. You've always been so needy, and now you have someone who's more needy, and you're like,
me needy.
But thank you all so much for joining us. We're coming up to a huge milestone, probably in the next month or so. But I'll make that announcement. But thank you all so much for joining us. We love you all, and we'll see you again next week.
Bye, guys.
Bye.